Mercury Retrograde in Cancer, June 29th to July 23rd. Cancer is naturally a slower, deeply emotional sign, so communication during this Mercury retrograde will likely feel slower, softer, calmer, but also more frustrating than usual. Ruled by the moon, Cancer is incredibly sensitive, intuitive, and it's a nostalgic sign, perhaps a little moody, they say. With Mercury retrograde here, expect the themes of revisiting the past, returning to your roots, and processing all the emotions that were never fully dealt with in the past. Cancer has a tendency to hold onto memories, old wounds, and yes, even grudges. So don't be surprised if old problems, childhood friends, exes, members, even long lost family members suddenly resurface out of the blue, wanting explanations. They want to reconnect, they want closure, they want answers. They're looking to just reconnect, be friends with you again, or maybe be romantic with you again, or get in touch with you. But is it really smart to do so, is the real question. Communication will feel much more emotional than logical. People may struggle to say exactly what they mean, and conversation could go around in circles. Mercury retrograde doesn't get the gist right away. It has to revisit something several times before the lesson finally clicks. I also feel that intuition may not flow as effortlessly as usual. Instead of receiving immediate clarity, there may be a slight delay or brain fog going on. Trust your instincts, obviously, but don't force any answers that, don't force the moon if the moon isn't ready to reveal itself yet. The current energy almost reminds me of the quote from Galadriel from The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. She says, "Something moves in the shadows unseen, hidden from our sight." And this is exactly how I'm feeling the energy of retrograde Mercury in Cancer to be like at the moment. And as I'm saying this, I keep getting this vision of the moon card as well, which is super interesting. And I think that's something in particular, whatever is moving in the shadows unseen will be revealed around the mid of July. So around July the 14th, something that has been hidden from your sight, hidden from your intuition, suddenly reveals itself, suddenly becomes seen. Something suddenly clicks. And you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about around mid-July. Especially if you're a water sign or your rising sign is in a water sign, especially Cancer, Cancer Moon, Cancer Venus, Cancer Mars, and Mercury. You will see exactly what I'm talking about. Exes may come back through text messages, social media now. We don't write letters anymore. We don't send pigeons out there anymore. So expect events like this to be more common the next couple of weeks. Sometimes they may even return through dreams, through random flashes of random memories, some old photos or songs, just an overwhelming urge to reach out for closure or a new beginning. Who knows? The same can happen with old friendships that you've long outgrown. I'm a Cancer sun with Mercury in Cancer. And guys, the amount of people that have reached out to me the last couple of weeks is actually crazy. Also, it's very possible that at the moment, any exes or old friends or someone that you used to be in touch, especially that's tied to like your early 20s or your teenage years or your childhood, now because Cancer, Cancer is tied to your childhood, to your earliest memories, to your roots, where you come from. Some people from that part of life may now reach out to you. So watch out for that. Cancer is naturally a little bit airheaded, they say, absent-minded, whatever you want to call it. And yes, we are very forgetful by nature. Trust me, I know that myself. My own Mercury is in Cancer. So speaking of experience, I am very forgetful. So yeah, expect more forgetfulness, clumsiness, misplaced items, and moments where your brain simply isn't firing on all cylinders over the next few weeks. Conversations may also become less direct. There could be a problem with passive aggressive conversations, kind of trying to avoid difficult discussions, emotionally shutting down, or people expecting you to read their mind, just know how someone feels. This could become very common right now. And you know what? Remember, if someone isn't emotionally mature enough to communicate openly and directly to you, that is not your problem. We may also feel dreamier than usual. Our dreams might be a little crazier right now. We may be getting lost in our own fantasy world, which can actually be a beautiful time for creative work. If you're into writing poetry, novels, music, when you're reconnecting to your old artistic projects from the past. So artists at the moment may feel especially inspired by this, even if you're just getting started with something. And even the only warning I have to give is that getting started with an artistic project feels way more difficult than usual. Yeah, you may struggle a little bit at the moment. There may be like bursts of inspiration mixed with moments of like anxiety or procrastination. When it comes to bureaucracy, paperwork, contracts, travel plans, technology, deliveries, bank transactions, anything really requiring organizations, unfortunately, you know the gist with Mercury Retrograde. I'm sure you heard about it thousands of times. I don't have to tell you. Well, expect delays, misunderstandings. You need to double check everything. Look under every rock. Leave no stone unturned, be like a dog with a bone. I know it's hard. It's very hard. Like I find it very hard to focus at the moment myself. So obviously give yourself extra time, back up important files, read the fine print several times before you submit or send something. And don't rush into any decisions simply because you're feeling pressured. Even if others are pressuring you, quite frankly, you can tell them to F off. And you can tell them, I am taking my time, unless it's obviously a situation of life and death. But do not let people rush you right now, because Mercury in Cancer, once again, speaking of experience, we do not like to be rushed and pressured. Oh, do this, do that, do this, do that. No, hang on a second there. I will take my time. I will revisit this. Hang on a second. Let me focus. Let me have a look. Let me read this, and then I will do it. As a fellow Mercury in Cancer person, I really advise you to do that right now, because I made a mistake in the past where I let people pressure me, and I let people just put this pressure on me to do something quickly, and then guess what? I would completely fuck it up. So no, don't let anyone pressure you unless it's literally a situation of life and death, which then in this case is understandable. But don't see Mercury retrograde as some sort of like capital punishment. Just see it as an experience to slow down, to think about stuff, to revisit things. If you have to revisit old memories, traumas, think about your old friends or exes, remember, that is completely normal. It is normal to go back and revisit situations. It's completely normal to have these thoughts, to have these dreams. So don't feel bad about it. As long as you don't act on it and you don't make the same mistakes that you used to make in the past, there's no harm in having thoughts or memories or just dreams, revisiting something. It's a way that your brain copes with what happened. So take it easy. Don't stress about it too much. And obviously help yourself the best ways you can. Mercury retrograde in Cancer also asks us to revisit as well what perhaps we have been avoiding emotionally. We have to reflect before reacting and have the conversation we have been putting off, perhaps. That would be a good way to put it. Sometimes the only way forward is to first make peace with the past. Thank you for listening. Have a great week ahead, and I love you guys. Goodbye.